I tell you what's funny is I've heard this repeated by people recently who I have probably been listening to my show for a while. But whenever I talk about this, it's usually talking about how responsibility without authority is slavery, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we don't do is we don't talk about the reverse of that, which is 100% authority without any responsibility is tyranny.
Yeah.
So when you look at those two things, that's the definition of slavery versus tyranny. And then I wrote about this in a couple of essays on my Substack, by the way, where I have sort of defined what the difference is between gynocentrism and androcentrism versus matriarchy and patriarchy, right? So right now, you hear everybody talking about how everything is gynocentric right now, where everything is, it's based on a female correct way of interpreting the human experience, right? Whether that's political, whether that's pop culture, whether that's religion, whether it doesn't matter what the context is, it's just the correct way to experience life is to experience it as a woman. And for men to do anything masculine at this point, and I mean this in the terms of conventionally masculine. I don't use the term traditional masculinity very often because lots of people have different traditions, right? Yeah. But from a conventionally masculine perspective, if you look at patriarchy is a far more balanced way of organizing society than gynocentrism or androcentrism for that matter. Because what gynocentrism is and androcentrism is there are forms of tyranny, meaning that in androcentrism, let's say, for example, men have all the authority and 0% responsibility. And that's like in The Handmaid's Tale, like Gilead, where it's all the women are just forced into, pregnancies and stuff like that. And then we have gynocentrism, which is the reverse of that. And then you've got patriarchy, which puts power and authority in men's hands, but they still have responsibility to their families and their wives and their kids. But they are given the authority to affect those responsibilities. And that's where I think a lot of like traditional conservative thought really kind of fails right now, because until they can acknowledge the fact that if you want men to be more responsible and man up and take bootstraps, you want them to be more responsible, you're not going to solve the world's problems or solve the gender issues with just adding more and more responsibility on there and not giving these guys the authority to affect that responsibility in the first place. Yeah. Until traditional conservatives can accept that, then we're just going to keep having this conversation over and over and over again.